Have you ever thought about the hotel you're staying in right now? What if its walls held dark secrets and spirits were watching your every move? What if these hotels were havens for the dead, more than the living? In this video, we take you on a journey through 10 terrifying stories from hotels around the world, where there's no safety, only fear. Mysterious disappearances, lost spirits, and strange events surround guests in the dead of night. Every corner of these hotels tells a story, and every room could be the final destination for many lost souls. Are you ready to discover these secrets? Stay with us until the end, but remember, keep your eyes on the screen. You might see what others don't. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment about which story terrified you the most. Have you ever stayed in one of these hotels? Share your experience with us. Darkness is looming, and you're now part of the game.
Los Angeles, the bustling city of dreams, filled with glittering lights and endless possibilities. But tucked away in one of its darkest corners lies a building shrouded in mystery. A place where strange things happen, where the boundaries between the living and the dead seem to blur. It's called the Cecil Hotel, now known as the Stay on Main, and it has a history that would send chills down anyone's spine. The year is 2013. Elisa Lamb, a young woman with a bright smile and an adventurous spirit, checked into the Cecil alone. She had been traveling across the west coast of the United States and made her way to LA. She was supposed to be enjoying her time, meeting new people, exploring new places. But something went horribly wrong. On January 31st, 2013, Elisa Lamb vanished from the hotel. No one could find her. She wasn't in her room. She wasn't anywhere in the hotel. The search went on for days until, almost by accident, the elevator footage was discovered. Imagine standing in front of that very elevator, the doors slowly creaking open, revealing an empty, darkened space. The faint hum of the hotel's lights above you. The footage that would later be released to the public shows Elisa Lamb stepping into the elevator. She presses multiple buttons, but the doors don't close. She steps back, peering out into the hallway. Then she steps out. She looks left, right, as if she's waiting for someone or something. Then, suddenly, she disappears from view. The doors shut. For a moment, it seems like nothing happened. But the footage tells another story. In a sudden, unexplainable moment, Elisa begins to act erratically. Her hands twitch. Her fingers curl. She looks like she's talking to someone who isn't there. She steps back into the elevator. But still, it won't close. And that's when the strange behavior intensifies. Elisa starts to crouch down, as if hiding from something, her eyes darting back and forth. The elevator moves up, down, up again before it finally stops. She's gone. The search for Elisa took a shocking turn. Days passed with no answers. And then a discovery that would haunt everyone who heard about it. The hotel's water tank, where guests drank, bathed, and brushed their teeth, was found to contain the body of Elisa Lamb. But how did she get there? The tank was locked. It was nearly impossible to access. And yet, Elisa's body was found inside. But what's more chilling is what was found in the footage of the water tank. Was she alone? Was someone else with her? The signs point to something far more sinister than anyone could have imagined. What happened to Elisa Lamb? Was she being chased? Was she talking to someone invisible? Was she somehow trapped in a space between life and death? The footage alone doesn't explain the bizarre behavior she exhibited. The hotel itself has been linked to strange disappearances, suicides, and even murders. But Elisa's case, it still remains unsolved, a haunting mystery that lingers in the corners of the Cecil Hotel. But what if Elisa's death wasn't a simple accident? What if the hotel itself has a much darker secret than anyone could have imagined? The elevator footage, her erratic behavior, and the eerie discovery of her body all leave more questions than answers. Could there be something hidden within the walls of the Cecil Hotel? Some say it's cursed. Others say it's haunted by the lost souls of the past. But we may never truly know what happened to Elisa Lamb. Was this a case of mental illness? A terrible accident? Or was there something else at play here? Something far more terrifying?
The ghostly guest of the Stanley Hotel. Have you ever stayed in a hotel room where you felt watched? Where the air felt heavier than it should? Where the shadows seemed to move when you weren't looking? What if that feeling wasn't just in your head? In the heart of Colorado, there's a hotel so haunted, even the guests have started to notice something unnatural. Welcome to the Stanley Hotel. It's the year 1911, and a man named F.O. Stanley, an inventor who made his fortune in the early 20th century, decides to open a luxurious hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. Built high in the mountains, the Stanley Hotel was meant to be a haven, a retreat from the hustle and bustle of the modern world. But there was something about the hotel, something that made it stand out from every other. The Stanley Hotel, however, became most famous not for its opulence, but for the strange occurrences that began to plague it shortly after its doors opened. Guests started to experience eerie phenomena, unexplainable sounds, voices that weren't there, things that moved when no one was around. But the story that cemented the Stanley's place in history came decades later, in the mind of a man who would forever change the hotel's reputation, Stephen King. If you'd like us to tell the whole story in a separate video, let us know. The haunting of the Bell Witch Hotel. What if the hotel you checked into wasn't just haunted, but cursed, where the walls seem to whisper and the very air around you feels alive? In Tennessee, there's a place where history and the supernatural collide, a place where even the bravest souls have felt the cold grip of terror. Welcome to the Bell Witch Hotel. The Bell Witch legend dates back to the early 19th century. The story goes that a family in Tennessee, the Bells, was tormented by a mysterious entity, one that would torment them in ways that can only be described as demonic. Strange noises, slaps to the face, unseen forces attacking them. But the legend doesn't end there. In the 1800s, a hotel was built on the same grounds where the Bell family's house had once stood. Locals and visitors who stayed at the Bell Witch Hotel began to experience strange occurrences. Some claimed to hear knocking sounds coming from inside their rooms. Others reported strange whispers in the dark. The disappearance at the Grand Budapest Hotel. You've checked into the hotel. You got your keys. You're ready to settle in, but something doesn't feel right. It's a creeping sensation, a weight on your chest. What if your room wasn't just waiting for you? What if something or someone had been waiting for you to arrive? In the heart of Europe, there's a hotel with a story that will chill you to the bone. Welcome to the Grand Budapest Hotel. Located in the picturesque city of Zermatt, Switzerland, the Grand Budapest Hotel was once a luxurious retreat for the elite. But over time, it became infamous for its strange disappearances. Guests would check in, only to vanish without a trace, never to be seen again. One such guest was a man named Richard Hawk, a wealthy businessman. He arrived at the Grand Budapest for a long-awaited vacation. Little did he know, the hotel was about to reveal its darkest secret. The ghost of the Queen Mary Hotel. Have you ever wondered if the ship you're aboard could be haunted? What if the very walls of the ship were alive with the memories of those who perished on board? Welcome aboard the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary was once a magnificent cruise liner that sailed across the seas. But when it was converted into a hotel, its haunting history came to light. Over the years, guests began to report strange sightings, ghostly apparitions, mysterious sounds, and even full-body apparitions in the ship's corridors. But the most terrifying tales come from those who have stayed in room B340, the room that no one dares to enter. Many have tried to check in, only to be told that the room is out of service. Some claim the room is cursed. Others believe it is haunted by the restless souls of the past. The haunted room 1408. You've heard the stories. People claim there are haunted rooms in every hotel. But what happens when you stay in one? What if that room is waiting for you? Waiting to trap you inside its dark, suffocating walls? Welcome to room 1408. Room 1408 is located in the Dolphin Hotel in New York City. For years, guests have reported strange happenings inside this room. The hotel management even went so far as to keep it locked off to avoid the trouble it causes. Still, some brave or foolish souls dare to check in, but none of them could explain what they experienced inside. The Vanishing Hotel Guest. You wake up in your hotel room to find something missing. Your luggage, your wallet, your phone, gone. But the scariest part? You're still there. What's even worse is that no one else seems to remember you ever checked in. This is the terrifying story of the Vanishing Hotel Guest. In a small, secluded hotel in the middle of nowhere, one guest arrived with nothing but a suitcase and a sense of dread. He checked in at 2 a.m., just as the last rays of sunlight faded into darkness. The hotel, eerily quiet, seemed abandoned, yet the reception desk was manned. He never left, and yet no one seems to recall him ever staying there. The shadow of the Black Hotel. There's a place where the walls seem to watch you, where the very air feels thick and suffocating. The shadows aren't just reflections. They're alive. They move. They follow. Welcome to the Black Hotel. The Black Hotel, located deep in the mountains of Eastern Europe, is surrounded by mystery. No one really knows who built it or why. The hotel has no history, no records, nothing. It's as if it appeared out of thin air. Over the years, those brave enough to visit have come away with stories of creeping shadows, whispers in the night, and feelings of being watched. But the worst part? No one ever stays there for long. The invisible guest. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to find your hotel room door wide open. But you're sure you locked it. Sure you did. And yet it's open. You're not alone. Someone or something is inside. But the worst part? You can't see them. A young couple checked into a beautiful seaside hotel on their honeymoon. Everything seemed perfect until the middle of the night. The door to their room opened by itself, and a strange presence filled the space. They heard footsteps, whispers, and the faint sound of a chair scraping across the floor. But when they turned on the lights, there was nothing. Not a single soul in sight. The possession in room 666. Some rooms are said to be cursed. But what happens when a room doesn't just haunt you? It takes control of you. Welcome to room 666. Located in a secluded hotel in the heart of the Midwest, room 666 had always been shrouded in mystery. It was known for its strange, unexplainable occurrences. Guests who stayed there reported vivid dreams, strange visions, and feelings of being controlled. But one guest checked in and left forever changed. He was never the same again. He was no longer himself. Something else was inside him. And here you have it, 10 terrifying hotel stories that will make you think twice before booking your next day. From wandering spirits that never leave, to rooms that hold more than dust and memories. These hotels are so much more than they seem. But what do you think? Were they just creepy coincidences? Or is there something darker lurking behind the doors of these haunted hotels? Are there more stories waiting to be discovered by the next unsuspecting guest? Pause for a moment to add a touch of suspense, turning down the background music for a moment. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our spooky stories. And we want to hear your thoughts. Share with us in the comments below about your most terrifying hotel experience ever. Who knows? Your story might be featured in the next video. Stay safe, but not too safe, because you never know what might be waiting for you in the next hotel room.